After we planted the inner belt, immediately we began to pray about our next church plant and going, okay, where is that going to be? And the second place in our surveys that we did among our small groups this last time was an area over in Illinois where we could reach to Belleville area college, or SWIC, Southwestern Illinois College now, which is one of the larger junior colleges in our area. Lindenwood Belleville is over there, and so is SIU Edwardsville, which is about 7 or 8, 9, I think maybe 12,000 students now. I think Belleville's 4,000 or 5,000 maybe total, and I don't know what SWIC is. So I remember talking with Carrie saying, Carrie, you know, when we do the next church plant, we won't do it, probably pick the area, because we've already narrowed down before we start going out to cities in Missouri and Illinois that have a university. That was one of the requirements of any place we'd plant. I said, man, if we could just get right here, right in this area of 270, 255, and 5570, there's 3 interstates that cross right there. Man, that'd be great. A few weeks ago, Kerry had been helping Ben and those guys that were out looking for buildings, and he thought, man, this is hard just to find somebody. Wonder what would be available over in that area for next time. And so he finds this place, and it's perfect. And if you were to put a pin dot on where I had been praying and told Kerry, man, if we could find this place, it'd be great, you could not have put a pin on a tinier dot and hit the place. So Kerry calls him up and says, hey, you've got a building. How much are you wanting for it? $350,000. And the lady said, well, what are you wanting to put there? And Kerry said, well, we're wanting to put a church there. And she goes, that's weird. It's an old 4-plex cinema. And Kerry goes, well, it's weird. What do you mean it's weird? She goes, this is weird because driving home yesterday from a church, my husband out of the blue looked at me and said, you know that building over in Collinsville we own? I believe God wants us to put a church in there. By the way, Lindenwood University also is in Belleville, is just appointed a new interim president that was good friends with some of the people in our leadership, or at least very supportive of them. So we think, okay, let's go ahead and see. So he says, hey, can we come look at it? We go look at it. It's about somewhere around 10,000 square feet. It's on one floor, but it's about 50% less than we have here on both floors, and it looks like perfect. 30 seconds off of Interstate 70, 30 seconds off 255-7. Oh, it's just right there. So some of our men said, hey, can we get together and talk further about it? And so this last week, 2 weeks ago today, I guess, no, 2 weeks ago, it would have been Monday, when senior week camp was going on, a group of them, Kerry, came back, and I think Tim Pruitt and Craig, I wasn't there, got together and said, hey, how much you want for the building? $350,000. Okay, well, listen, they talked for 4 hours telling them the first half was about money, the second half was about what we're doing as a church. After Kerry got back the next day, they called and said, hey, listen, we've decided that we will give that building, if you want it, for $275,000, which is roughly what they have in it. And Kerry was like, man, we need to do something, Dad. There won't be an opportunity like this. So immediately we began to think, he and I, like, okay, we know the church has been burdened and they'll help any way they can, but we've got people outside that we've been connected with. Maybe we get some help. So we were going to make this trip to some churches of people that we knew, but we ended up just putting this fundraiser thing on, and it didn't go up on live at that time, saying, hey, here, you guys, some of our members, our core leaders, check this out. How do you think this sounds? What do we need to change? So we were praying about it. About that time, we got a call from Rita and I got a call from a couple that said, hey, we want to meet and talk with you about this church plant stuff, and we've heard about what you're wanting to do, and we really like what you guys are doing now. We'd like to talk to you about that. We might be able to, be interested in helping out. So we sat down with the couple, and can't tell you who they are. They want to remain anonymous in this whole thing. They said, so what they said, but they told us, listen, here's what we're thinking about, building this cabin that in the wood, buying some acreage and building a cabin, and we could use it, and our kids could always come back when we get older, and their grandkids, we could all come together, and we just have like family reunions and vacations there. And the church could use it for like leadership meetings and stuff if you guys want to, if you'd be interested in that. And that's kind of what we were thinking about doing. But then we started thinking about, is that really the greatest purpose for, is that what we want to do? Or could we help maybe out with that church plant over there and things that are going on? So we talked for a while, and money never came up once when we met with them. The next morning, I get up and getting ready to leave, and I get a text. We'd already checked with the bankers, and they said, by the way, to be able to do this, you'll need $54,000 down, but we can probably finance it with you. You guys have done well enough. So $54,000 down, and since we had $54 in savings, we decided, kind of kidding you on that one, but they said no, $54,000 down. So Carrie and I thought, man, maybe we'll do that. But I get this text and says, hey, listen, my wife and I, we've been praying about this for a while. We prayed last night, and we just feel like the cabin thing is a very short-term focus and not a very worthy purpose for us to invest in any way. So what we've decided to do, if you guys if you want, we've decided to help you guys with that building. So pending on you guys have got to get the inspection, make sure it passes the environmental, and then it passes the other things. But if it gets past that, so we have a $275,000 cashier's check waiting for you guys. And I believe, what was the difference? It was the purpose on which were they going to live for themselves, or are they going to live for others? Are they going to live for others, or are they going to live for God? And someday in heaven there will be, I believe, a reunion of people that were saved because somebody decided to be Christ-like rather than covetousness as we do that. There's a lot of things that are really cool about this building, and now we're going to have about $100,000 probably to fix it up to where it'll be like this. But you know what's weird? Didn't know this. Jason, one of our guys here, was looking at that place, that's there. And he did a zoom, Google how it comes in, and we'd looked, I've been there and everything else. It sets on Mall Street. It's at the corner of Mall and something else. It sets right behind, you can walk to the Walmart in 30 seconds. You can walk to the Home Depot in 15 seconds. It's very much like where we are now. Jason said, "Do you see what that corner street is there?" And I said, "No, what?" He goes, "Look," and he has it zoomed in. It sets on the corner of Mall Street and Collinsville Crossing. Now, just think about that for a second. They've already named it for us, okay? You see, sometimes you can go, "Man, that's really amazing," and it is amazing. And you go, "I can never do that," and you may not be able to. The question isn't what can't you do. The question is, what do you do with what you have? What is the purpose for why you receive? And you will defeat covetous by having a commitment to repurpose what you give. Everything you have, you go, "I'm getting this for the glory of God. It's His anyway."